Melissa, my life is in shambles. I've I don't even understand what's happening. Even God, all right. So a couple weeks ago, here on the podcast, mind blown when I discovered Perry Mason, not real. He's alive.
Who else have you been thinking is real who is not real? Bosch?
Iron Chef isn't real? What? No, so, yeah, I had my mind blown with that. I thought he was a real, like, genuinely thought that it was a real person.
You
existed,
fooled me for like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Also, so I have to, like, give some context, because this is like a big update on things for me in my life and where I am. I've now lived here in Oklahoma for an entire year. And when we moved into this place, we had neighbors on both sides of us, right? The neighbors, if I'm facing the street, the neighbors on my left, they stayed for another like month or two, and then they moved out and a new family moved in. And then the neighbor on our right, he was an older gentleman, and a few months after that, he passed away. Since then, like some what I assume would be family members or close friends have come to help clean out the house and all that good stuff. You've also heard me mention on multiple occasions the trouble that we've had getting food delivered to my house. They always stop at Luigi's Pizza.
Yes.
And they're just like, are you at a business? 'Cause I don't know. I'm like, nope, we're at the house. Keep going around the corner. We're in the neighborhood behind it. You can see it on your GPS. I know you know how to read that thing. So my partner was pulling out of the driveway this past week and rolled down her window to say hello to someone because they were parked in the driveway of the house that has been empty. And they got out, they introduced themselves. That was the owner of that house, as well as the owner of Luigi's Pizza.
That's Luigi?
Melissa, I regret to inform you, his name is not Luigi. He is not Luigi. No. Luigi's Pizza is a lie.
Was his dad Luigi? Is this Luigi Jr.? Is Luigi Sr. dead?
His name is Jeff.
Who wants to play a game called Jeff's Mansion?
It's just, my whole life is in shambles. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if it is like his father owned it, or if he, like, the original owner, his name was Luigi, and then he ended up buying it. Who knows? But just critical information that I have discovered this week, and I am dealing with it.
Sometimes a restaurant is a real person. Wendy, I think, was Dave Thomas's real daughter. But Betty Crocker is an amalgamation. Betty Crocker is a fictional concept they invented to respond to letters from housewives who were like, how do cake? So they made up Betty Crocker to do that. So it's, 50-50 whether any name you see on a building is a real person or not.
It was just an interesting turn of events, to say the least. But if you guys did not know, this here is the Whatnauts Captain's Log number 229. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you? You just had a big salad.
Big, yes. Huge.
We happened to have a big salad earlier this week too. On top of that, we're rewatching Seinfeld. I've mentioned that multiple times. There is an episode of Seinfeld called The Big Salad, which we also watched this week on the day that we had the big salad. So
did you do that on purpose?
No.
Or was it a coincidence?
It was a
I was going to ask you, how many salads do you eat?
I eat quite a bit, actually.
Okay. You never mention it.
It's like my opposite of a cheat meal, my like healthy meal. Right?
You have one healthy day a week.
Basically. Usually whenever we go to the grocery store, I just get myself one of those like chicken Caesar salad kits. They're not the healthiest of the salads that are out there. But I like a good Caesar salad, and I like a good chicken Caesar salad. So just a little small one that I can be like, this is a good lunch, or in the midst of me eating nothing but pizza and burgers and chocolate cake and candy and soda and Mountain Dew, I can have my healthy meal and justify my existence. So
Mountain Dew categorized separately from soda. It's on a different echelon.
There you go. How has your week been?
It's been okay. Work's pretty hectic. Work hasn't not been hectic for quite some time. I'm hoping once I get these new hires trained, we can even out some workloads. I'll feel less frantic every day. They brought in coffee trucks for us. We just went back to our office. We've been working from home for 3 months because a pipe burst in our office over the long Christmas weekend when nobody was there. Office is finally done. And the days we came back, they brought in these coffee trucks as a treat. You know, people work different schedules, so they had them there 2 days in a row. Cool. These trucks have 16-ounce cups, which is a little less coffee than I typically drink. And I cannot risk being less than fully caffeinated at work. I have to answer 100 emails. So instead, I just had 2. Like, they didn't have a bigger size. I'm like, well, all right, I'll have 2 of your 16-ounce drinks, please. So I've been wired the past 2 days.
There you go, Melissa, bouncing off the walls. How has that affected the rest of your day then? To just have that extra little bit amount? Are you like crashing after work? Are you having trouble sleeping? What's happening?
I've surprisingly been okay. I think I just have my eyes on the prize being how many emails can I answer in one day? I have to top at least 100. I need that power.
Gotcha.
Being back in the office, I think, helped even me out. I do not like to work from home. It triggers some like child lizard part of my brain that says I've been sent to time out. Like, I stopped making rational adult decisions if you put me alone in my room for too long. I think I've gotten in trouble. Like, if I didn't choose to be here, if I'm stuck here because I can't go to my office, I misbehave. It does something to me. I don't like it. I have to go into a building. I have to put on real pants.
Melissa, misbehaving. I'm like imagining you like morphing into like a vaporwave statue of yourself, just like can't.
I wish I could be that serene.
That's how Melissa goes out.
You know what I feel like? What I feel like a lot. Okay, so you know how in T2 Judgment Day, Robert Patrick is like silver goo, but he can turn into a lot of different things, and he's like the hot new Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't enough. We built like a bigger, better Terminator, and he can do everything we want. I feel like that's what my client expects me to be sometimes. But instead, all I am is the secret world of Alex Mack, where the girl turns into a silver puddle, but she doesn't turn into anything else. It's girl or puddle.
I'm glad you said that, because immediately when you said Terminator 2 turns into the silver goo, I was like, oh, like Alex Mack.
Right.
Like that's exactly where my mind went.
I'm only at Alex Mack level. I'm not at T2 Judgment Day level. So I've just been feeling kind of like a puddle for a while, but putting me back in a real building makes me a bit more accountable. I feel a little better about it.
More humanoid.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's see. We got all sorts of stuff here on our list of things to talk about this week. So I guess speaking of things that were a lie besides Luigi's Pizza, something else did not happen this month that none of you guys knew about. No one knew. I didn't announce this to anyone because it never happened. Melissa, Mecha March never happened. I'm deeply saddened. I regret to inform you all that it did not happen, but that's just the reality.
Was this your goal to like build a model kit or something?
Basically. So when I decided that I needed to step away from crossplay, I stepped back because I just like I had a lot on my plate. My idea and vision for that show was to kind of hand it off to other people, and unfortunately, it just didn't end up happening. And so I stepped down in hopes that I would have more free time to do whatever I want, watch more TV show, just like actually relax. And I've had more time, but again, things don't always go according to plan. Like I was hoping to maybe even just like an hour a week do like a stream on our Twitch channel or on YouTube, just hanging out, just talking, maybe playing video games. And then I got the idea for Mecha March. That I have this like Gundam model kit that I got for like my birthday or Christmas, and it's just been sitting here. I haven't touched it yet. I'm still like super excited to start it, but it's been sitting here since the holidays. I just haven't touched it. So dreams have been crushed. My hopes is that sometime just on my own over the summer, I'll just like not even online, not streaming it, just in like while I'm watching a cartoon or something, just start it. Who knows? But
you've got another opportunity if the alliteration is what you're really looking for. You can have a Mecha May.
I sure can. I just don't know if I really have the not time to stream it, but like I guess and not motivation either. It's just that like odd combination of like I have the time, but I don't have the time. I have the motivation, but I don't have the motivation, and it's not fitting in. If that makes sense. So one day, as I shake my fist.
How big is it? When you're done with it, how big is it going to be?
So let me see. I have the box. Let me also go get one of the Gundams.
He's going away, folks. He's going far away. You won't hear him anymore. He went to the other side of the room where his street sharks are. That guy is pretty big.
So, this is one that my parents got me a while back, not knowing what a Gundam was or who this Gundam is. They just got me this guy. This is Psycho Gundam.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
They just thought, hey, Psycho Gundam sounds cool. Let's get him Psycho Gundam. So I think it's going to be about this size, maybe a little bit shorter. But it is still the RX-78, which is like the original Gundam. So not this guy. Good old classic red and blue and white and that good stuff. So yeah.
You'll answer when you get back to your microphone. That guy, that Gundam I always see, like the Optimus Prime of Gundams, his name is just RX-7. He doesn't have like a more specific name.
RX-78. Because he was created in the year Universal Century 78. And the box that I have here is for, and you can see it there, the RX-78-2. So this was like version 2.
His son.
Yeah. next out on the assembly line. This is a 1/100th scale. And it is a master grade one. So it's a little bit more complicated than I've done previously. They have different like tiers of how complicated they are. And stuff like that. So I'm not very good at making these, but I wanted to try out one that was like just like that next step up, just to see what it was like, and we'll see. We'll see.
I built some Lego flowers. Those are one scale. They're flower sized.
But yeah, that was another thing that did not happen recently. My life is a lie.
No Max, no shambles. Luigi. I'll tell you about another thing that has never happened.
Okay.
Big Bug Man.
What the hell is Big Bug Man?
I wanted to do this like 2 weeks ago. I didn't. It's not as timely as it would have been 2 weeks ago post Oscars. This is one of the legendary pieces of lost media I have encountered on my journeys through various YouTube compilation videos. Okay. And I just wanted to make sure you knew about it. I just wanted you to know the words Big Bug Man and how this was almost a movie once.
Educate me.
According to thelostmediawiki.com, Big Bug Man is an unreleased animated superhero movie that was noteworthy for being Marlon Brando's last film performance.
Oh.
The film starred Brendan Fraser as Howard Kind, an employee of a candy factory who is bitten by bugs, becoming the superhero Big Bug Man. However, he soon becomes corrupted by the business world. So you're going to Google this. You're going to see the one poster that there is. It looks very 90s. And when I say very 90s, the audience who is not looking at the poster for Big Bug Man might think of something more sleek, more edgy. I don't know how to describe this. It's pretty Nickelodeon looking.
Yeah, so I just typed in Big Bug Man and went to images. I found a picture that is from Screen Rant with the title of the article that says, Batgirl isn't the only canceled Brendan Fraser movie we wish had happened.
Yeah, bring back Big Bug Man.
This is kind of wild, yeah. One with
so the movie, despite as 90s as it looks, it was originally scheduled to be released in 2006, but was delayed till 2007, then 2008. Wow. Nothing has been heard about this since 2008. And the story about Marlon Brando, himself also an Oscar winner, is that the production approached him to play an evil businessman named Nicholas Dunderbeck. But Brando, getting on there in age, he's looking back on his career and he says, you know what? I've always wanted to play a woman. And he points at this tiny little old lady in like the character
girl.
Sheets.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see her.
Her name is Mrs. Sour. She like runs that candy factory. And he's like, can I be her? And like, you're not going to say no to Marlon Brando. Right. And he was poor in health, so they went to his home to record his dialogue there. They open the door. He's wearing a dress, a wig, makeup, gloves. He's like, I really want to get into character for this. I'm excited to be Mrs. Sour. After he recorded it, he's like, that's the most fun I've had since Julius Caesar. Like, he seemed into it. And then he died 1 month later.
Oh, man.
Right? And for his sake alone.
Big Bug Man.
Right. I'm sad. Does Big Bug Man look good? I'm not sure. But for the sake of Marlon Brando's final performance, where he saw some little old cartoon woman and said, I want to be her. I'll dress up as her when I say her lines. For that alone, I at least release the audio Make Big Bug Man an audio drama, please.
Yeah.
With an immersive soundscape. I want to hear the bugs.
That'd be amazing. I had no idea this existed or was even a thing. Man, because it really has that like very like early 90s Nickelodeon, like very, very cheap budget animation. I don't, yeah, like, I mean, it also reminds me of the like 60s Spider-Man cartoon, the Tick cartoons that we've gotten, like all of these bug themed heroes that are jokesters and stuff like that. Interesting. Did not know that was a thing.
There's so many tales out there in the world of lost media. Someday I'm going to have to do some more research and bring you the tale of Freaky Flicker's Search for the Golden Flicker.
Freaky Flickers. That sounds like a porn title.
It was a toy. I don't know if I remember the toy specifically, but I remember things like it. It's like a little rubber guy, and it's got like this bit on the back of the toy where you like flick it with your finger, and it's supposed to like go flying away.
Weird.
Like it's designed for you to like flick it around like it's paper football or something. And they were going to do a like this was like mid 2000s maybe. They were going to do a direct-to-DVD movie about the Freaky Flickers, Search for the Golden Flicker. And one guy was making it? Just one guy? Like in his house?
There you go.
And he was exhausted. He was like a really low budget, like short turnaround. I don't know why the production was the way that it was. Like I said, I have to do more research into this thing because this story has always fascinated me. He's exhausted. He works for like a straight day and then he collapses. He just sleeps and sleeps in the middle of the day. And then while he's asleep, somebody sneaks into his house and like steals his hard drive. So like this very, very low budget direct to DVD movie about a toy you don't remember it was stolen. How many lost medias are stolen?
Melissa, there's a timeline out there where we never got Toy Story, but instead we got the Golden Flicker.
It would have happened. This wasn't 1995. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten Toy Story 3.
Is that the one that they like lost it and had to copy from someone's?
Oh, that's Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is the one where. All right, do you want the entire story behind Toy Story 2?
I've heard it once before. I don't remember where. Maybe it was on the show. Maybe it was you. I don't know. But there's a timeline where that was like we only ever got that first Toy Story and nothing else. And instead, it's like, here's Golden Flickers.
Kyle, can you Google it? Have you Googled the phrase Freaky Flickers, Search for the Golden Flicker?
I haven't yet. Let me see here.
Let me Google this as well.
Freaky Flickers. L-I-C-K-E-R. Freaky Flickers.
Look at the images.
Golden Flicker.
They look like silly putty.
Oh.
It is not pleasant to look at. Not to disparage the hard work of the one guy who was making the film in his house.
Right. This is kind of horrifying, to be honest.
Yeah. That's what's really fascinating to me about lost media is that when
big image there.
When people go looking for these things, they're not necessarily. It's not. I don't know if people are like, the world would be so much better if we had Freaky Flickers. I'm sorry, Quest for the Golden Flicker, not Search. Quest for the Golden Flicker, whatever that is. It's just this passion to make sure that everything that has existed is recorded somewhere. Maybe nobody wants to see it. Maybe there are people who believe it shouldn't be seen, but there's just this search for this peace of mind of it's somewhere. The historical record of the thing is intact somewhere. And, you know, when you hear stories like this, it does sort of haunt you.
Yeah. Wild stuff. Interesting. Yeah, these things are some freaky little flickers, that's for sure.
The freakiest.
Indeed. Yeah, I was thinking you were about to come to the podcast with like you had some like big bug costume guy at your job, or you like saw some like, you know how on the I don't know or like, you know how like on the street corner sometimes, especially like right now during tax season, you see the people out there in like the Statue of Liberty costume being like, come get your taxes done right here, and they have their sign and they're spinning it. I was thinking like maybe you saw like some kind of like Kafka-esque like giant cockroach just being like, come on down, get your house aerated. There's something, I don't know.
Just doing some metamorphosis cosplay.
Right, yeah.
Dressing up as Gregor Samsa for Halloween.
Oh no. I saw a weird tweet today. Let me pull this guy up here. It is all about liquid trees.
No, I'm going to stop you right there. I've not clicked on this thing. I don't need to look at it because I know what liquid trees is. That is 110% the name of a vape company. That is a THC vape for sure.
I don't doubt you, but no. The tweet says, scientists create liquid trees, a tank full of water and microalgae that could be an alternative to trees in urban spaces. And they have two pictures here for you guys to look at if you're watching the video version of this. I don't have much to say on these things here. I don't really. I just think they almost miss the purpose of trees, right? I'm sure these somehow provide oxygen to the area around it, you know, all that good stuff. But trees in an urban environment also provide shade. Homes to squirrels or birds or little bugs and critters, right? Like these seem to almost miss the point of trees.
I know trees can do a lot of things. I'm a big tree fan. You've heard me talk about it before.
Biggest tree fan on the podcast right here, right now.
Between the two of us, I'm ranked number one. But you can imagine in very crowded cityscapes, there are skyscrapers that are so close together that down there on the sidewalk, there's hardly enough sunlight for a tree to grow. I imagine this is what those are for.
I would agree with you. However, both of these pictures have these green boxes situated literally right in front of trees or to the side of them.
Well,
so
you got to have a diverse neighborhood. Like you got to have artificial tree and liquid tree together in harmony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how Pinocchio goes to school with human kids.
Right. I'm a real tree. But these things look like this like sci-fi rejuvenation tank, right? Like you expect to see the alien
Luke Skywalker's in there, yeah.
Yeah, you expect to see like Luke Skywalker in there or some like alien face hugger thing like swimming around in that thing. It's just it almost looks like Mountain Dew, but like thick. It looks like green ooze.
It looks viscous for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely ooze. Is this Nickelodeon?
I mean, hey, there was that like Power Rangers 30th anniversary movie on Netflix thing that released this week. That this could be Ivan Ooze himself, right?
He's green now instead of
gone
purple.
Green. Yeah.
This does look like if the Kids' Choice Awards redesigned their awards, like it's not the blimp anymore. Right, yeah. Now it's this modernist avant-garde sculpture with some slime in it. If they made a little one you could put on your desk, I would take it.
You know what? I think I would too. This thing looks kind of neat. It is this like real modern design. It is the like square, like rectangular tank, but kind of wrapped around it in this like really light like wood is almost a bench. Like they could potentially make these into like bus stops, right, where people can sit at them and stuff like that. But I just thought I think they missed the point of trees, but they look funky. And I like that.
Funky indeed.
Yeah. That's all I have on liquid trees. With that, though, I say we take a quick break for some housekeeping. And when we come back, we can get into some of the pop culture news that's been happening in the past week or so. So we will be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes, and at our $3 tier, a Patreon-exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout-out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. It means a ton. If you are at the $3 tier on our Patreon, you get the Pilots Club, our patron exclusive podcast. This past month, we talked about CSI, so you guys can go hear us talk about the original pilot for that show. But coming up this next month, Melissa, just this past weekend, you and I recorded an episode on Bob Patterson. I want to describe this as a failed TV pilot, but it's not. It was successful enough that it became a show. They ordered episodes, but the show only ever lasted a month. And speaking of a bunch of lost media, not all of the episodes of this show aired. Like only the first 5 of them did. And then the other 5 that they had filmed, some of them got lost and just you can't watch them. So it's an interesting piece that we got to talk about. Bob Patterson. Mm-hmm. So that will be up for April, the month of April. Right here on the Captain's Log, last week, it was the episode you were all waiting for. Finally, we explained poop.
I explained the narrative purpose of poop in the Willem Dafoe crime survival thriller Inside, where he's trapped inside. And there's a shot where you see him pooping in a bathtub, and that's how the movie tells you he's been inside that long.
We had a blast last week. It was good. Over on the review show, Melissa, you and I finished up our coverage of the Fast saga, the Fast and the Furious. We got to talk about numbers 7 through 9. as we watched Hobbs and Shaw, but we really only mentioned it here and there. It was not required viewing. But we are all ready to go for Fast 10 when that comes out. I'm excited. And I think I assume we will be doing a spoiler cast of it over on the Reactor Core now that we are all caught up. But speaking of the Reactor Core, John Wick 4, we have our spoiler cast up. That one was a lot of fun to talk about. Unfortunately, we had the video of that one get corrupted, so it's audio only, even on the YouTube version. But man, yeah, that one was a lot of fun for us to talk about. I was originally planning on seeing it in 4DX on Friday. My plans are still not set in stone with that, so I'm still hoping that I can go see it in 4DX, because I think that would be sweet. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But go see John Wick 4.
I don't have a 4DX theater in my town. I don't know what the closest one to me is. Maybe it is yours in Oklahoma City.
Right.
There's no way for me to rig that up by myself at home. And except for if I move my own body around. I get a little bottle of water to spray myself in the face.
You just have to get like a rocking chair or some like swivel chair that can lean side to side.
Oh my God. Yeah, you get the Hawaii chair.
Yeah,
that's my ticket. Hawaii chair.
But yeah, that is basically it for housekeeping. Lots of cool stuff. Be on the lookout for Melissa and I to cover Yellow Jackets this next week. We will be talking about the first 2 episodes of that. I'm excited to dive into that as well. And then, of course, we got The Mandalorian. As we are covering that, we have the first half of the season, or like episode 1, which covers the first half of season 3 of The Mandalorian. We will do a part 2 down the road once season 3 is all complete. But yeah, lots of cool stuff happening. So what is this Hawaii chair? I don't think I've ever actually seen this.
Look, you got to look up this infomercial. It's an infomercial.
Hawaii
Maybe
chair.
Not a full infomercial where there's like characters who show you what you can do with the magic bullet blender, but one of those as seen on TV ads.
Right.
The Hawaii chair is a chair where the bottom kind of swivels around, so it's like you're hula-ing while you're sitting down. Your hips just sort of hula around while you work. It's supposedly supposed to help keep you fit, tone your core, etc. But I love the little jingle in the commercial. I'm fond of this a lot.
I'm watching it right now, but I don't have the sound on.
That's the best part.
Let me see. Do I have the audio on? Let's see here. Let's go back to the start of this thing. I don't think I'm playing it on stream. I need to browser audio. There we go. All right. One more time. Out of your workout, the Hawaii chair.
I googled Hawaii chair and I found it on a list from Time magazine of the 50 worst inventions. Like, have you heard of the atomic bomb? What's the Hawaii chair doing on here? The Hawaii chair has brought joy. I'm looking at this list. We've got This is time for one of my classic lists. Here's some of the stuff you can
exist anymore. I went to hawaiichair.com as advertised on the infomercial, and it does not exist.
That's so disappointing. Here's some of Time Magazine's list of the 50 worst inventions. Segway, New Coke, Clippy, Agent Orange, the Virtual Boy, Auto Tune, the Ford Pinto, Betamax, tanning beds, Crocs, Foursquare, the Bump It, Snuggie for dogs, Pontiac Aztec, asbestos, fake ponytails, head on, apply directly to the forehead, Tamagotchis, vibrating ab belt, Smell-O-Vision, Microsoft Bob. So it's a combination of like laughable failed products, but also real stuff like asbestos, hydrogen blimps. Like some of these just made too much, and then you could buy a bunch of them for like $2 in the back of a Circuit City. Some of these killed people, Time Magazine. I don't think these go on the same list.
Right. Yeah.
Clippy never killed. Clippy is innocent. There's no blood on his hands because he doesn't have hands.
So I don't know if I mentioned this, but back when I was doing all of the like memes and stuff that we're setting up, I have Clippy green screened out. I have 10
like
of
Clippy.
his animations, and I have a button that anytime I hit the button, it randomly picks one of those animations and puts it on the podcast. So go watch the video version of this. There will be a thing of Clippy right now. There, he's on screen.
What's he saying?
He rolled up his little sheet of paper and is using it as a telescope, and he's looking at you. Now he's looking everywhere. It's just like,
does he like what he sees?
Animation. No, he left. He was like, I'm out of here.
No, what if I solved my problems by getting a rich husband, and my rich husband was Clippy?
Do you really think Clippy's that rich?
I don't know.
If Clippy was a real person, would he be rich?
He probably made a bunch of money back then. He seems smart. He invested well. He probably has like a top of the line car. Like he has like the best Porsche you could get in 1998. And he just still has it and takes really good care of it. I feel like Clippy would be a good husband. He'd watch out for me.
I mean, he'd always make sure everything was okay and working properly, that you never forgot anything. Like, hey, did you know that blah, blah, blah?
He'd be a little like passive aggressive sometimes, you know. Sometimes I'd worry that he's looking down on me, but ultimately, like, he checks in with my feelings. He makes good money. He's going to keep our house very neat. I feel like we live near the beach. Oh, he's a Microsoft product, so we live in Seattle, me and Clippy.
Right. Yeah.
I need this. You know all those Chuck Tingles where it's like boned in the butt by a gay space unicorn or whatever? Where's my Clippy romance?
Anyways, we got some pop culture news to talk about. No more of this Clippy nonsense.
Okay.
Daredevil Born Again. It seems like season 2 is being planned. I don't want to say in production, but planned, according to Vincent D'Onofrio.
One post-it note has been written.
Right. Yeah. Hey guys, I got an idea.
I pinned one 3x5 card to one bulletin board.
Apparently, in some recent interviews, Vincent D'Onofrio was talking about kind of the story structure of what's happening in season 1, and that he said fans should look forward to some big payoffs in both season 1 and 2. And he said by the second season, there are gigantic payoffs in the first season 2, but I can't say much about that. But the fans are gonna really get what they want. And I'm looking at a little article from IGN, but I think the interview was with Newsweek is the source that they were quoting there. But yeah, so Daredevil Born Again, wasn't this one gonna be like 18 episodes for season 1? Like, wasn't this one supposed to be real long?
I'm wondering if the episode order is still 18 for season 1, or if now they're like, all right, it's 12 and let's make another 6 episodes to fill out the back end of what would be a season 2. Unsure.
I'm wondering if they're even doing like part 1 and part 2. Like, do like, hey, here's the first 9 episodes. Here's the second. And it's still all season 1, but they're just releasing like, hey, here's the first half to give themselves a little bit more time to do the second half. But also, like, I don't like Vincent D'Onofrio is not the kind of person or actor to really run off at the mouth and say something that isn't true or is speculative or like rumors or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's pretty well put together to especially in interviews and stuff like that. So he might be right. Season 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How would you feel about more Daredevil Born Again? More than one season.
I don't even know how I feel about the original amount I was told I was going to get about Daredevil Born Again. You're too advanced. I can't have that many speculative emotions right now.
I mean, I'm interested. I think if they are planning a second season, they're pretty darn confident with this, because that is one of the things that we've heard is that, like, hey, if you guys liked the Daredevil show on Netflix, this is going to be very different. Like, a lot of the same actors and stuff, but it's different. And we don't know what that different means exactly. We kind of, it sounds like it might be a little bit lighter hearted, maybe have a little bit more jokes, might not be as violent as the Netflix one was. But like you said, that's all just speculative. Like, we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting. I take this as a good sign that they are confident in this. That, like, yes, we want to do multiple seasons of this. We can bring in more actors or new characters, stuff like that. So there we go. Daredevil Born Again season 2 potentially in the works. Melissa, Liv Tyler returning as Betty Ross in Captain America New World Order. We haven't gotten her in an MCU film proper.
Exactly. She was in The Incredible Hulk in like 2008.
Yes, which is the like honorary, like, you're not really part of the MCU, but you are at the same time. But Liv Tyler is returning. How do you feel about Liv coming back and getting to see more of Betty Ross?
I don't know much about Betty Ross. Like, I don't know what to look forward to. Like, oh, Betty Ross's signature wit or fire or steeliness. Like, I don't know what her strengths are. I don't know what she does. But I do think it's interesting whenever they bring back an old element that you weren't really expecting to come back. I really like when they play with things that are not fan favorites that nobody is asking them to do. I think that's always a really interesting choice when they don't go for what the obvious the fan service would be. And Liv Tyler, we watched her in The Leftovers a year or two ago on the review show. Incredible in that program.
Fantastic. Yep.
She's very good.
She is good. I like Liv Tyler a lot. I have a bit of a hopeless schoolboy crush on her. But yeah, she is, even as someone who reads a number of comics, and reads a lot of comics, I don't really read Hulk stuff all that much. So I don't, I also don't really know, like, who is Betty Ross as a person? Like, if I had to distinguish her personality from like MJ or Gwen Stacy, I couldn't do it.
I've never seen anyone who isn't a professional comics artist draw a picture of Betsy Ross. I've never seen anybody dress up as
Betty
her.
Ross, not Betsy Ross.
She's the lady who made a flag.
Yeah, a flag.
A little flag. You might have heard of it.
But even in the Hulk movie, like, she's there. I don't even, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't dislike her as Betty Ross. I just don't know if there was anything especially stand out about the character. And I don't think that's Liv Tyler's fault. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, you're the girlfriend. And also the daughter.
These were early days. The fact that there was girl was plenty.
Hey, we got a girl.
Girl is here. Everyone go home. It's happy hour. We added a girl. The fact that we can't name anything about Betty Ross is intriguing to me. Like, if she's this much of a blank slate, what are they going to do with her? What are they going to say she's been doing for 15 or 20 years, or, however, where we are in the literal timeline of the canonical MCU and these people's lives at this point?
Yeah. What's interesting to me is including her in this new Captain America movie.
Well, we're going to have Tim Blake Nelson.
Yep.
The leader.
The leader. Yeah. So, I mean, it, like, on one hand, it, like, at first glance, it looks strange of, like, why include her? But as the Hulk not program, but, like, the idea of the super soldier serum, right? Yeah. That's what Thunderbolt Ross was trying to do. That's what they were working on, and all that stuff. That's how the Abomination got made. That's how the Hulk got made. It revolves around the super soldier serum. So I wonder if we're gonna explore that a little bit more and include God, what's his name? John Walker in this. If he's gonna be in here, or the power broker and what she's been up to, and all of that good stuff. It'll be interesting including her now that the actor that was playing Thunderbolt Ross has passed away.
Oh yeah.
And there's rumors of him being recast. Was that confirmed that he has been
recast? I think so. I think Harrison Ford is him now.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting one. The whole
Which would be funny.
Family has all been recast.
Right.
That's an interesting thing. Except for her.
Tim Roth and Tim Blake Nelson.
Right, yeah.
Only Tims are safe.
Yeah.
Her middle name is Tim. We don't talk about that. It would be funny if after they cast the actor playing her father, that they're like, well, now we have to get a new actress who looks more like Harrison Ford.
I'm wondering if there's gonna be a little bit of, like, multiversal stuff of like, hey, you don't look like my Bruce Banner, something like that. She could be playing a variant of herself somehow. Who knows?
I'd be real sad if I went to go see my parents and suddenly my dad was a well-respected Hollywood elder statesman instead of the dad I've always had.
You go visit your parents and your dad is now Clippy.
No, I just don't want anyone to recast my dad, okay? I want the dad I have.
Yeah, Liv Tyler returning as Betty Ross. I don't know where else to go with that one.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Secret Invasion is reportedly premiering on June 21st. This is according to the Disney Plus page for the show. June 21st, so sometime end of the spring.
That is summer solstice.
Summer. There you go.
I guess if they release it early enough in the morning, that is technically the last minutes of spring.
What day is that on? June 21st.
Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Okay, yeah, that tracks for what they typically do, I think. But yeah, I am excited about Secret Invasion, 6-episode show. I hope it's full hours, not the little half hours.
Yeah, we need a lot.
But this is an interesting one because it's been delayed for so long. So there you go.
In the grand scheme of things, Kyle, the thing is only being delayed 4 or 5 months.
Wasn't it originally supposed to be out like middle of last year?
I feel like it. Well, it depends on your definition of original. I don't know how far back in the original, in like the told timeline we are going. I don't know when they first announced Secret Invasion and gave us a year or a quarter. But
it depends on if this is the timeline where your dad is your dad, or if it's the one where your dad is Clippy. Because they announced him on different dates there.
Would you recognize if you know how in Rogue One they make a digital Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yeah.
You don't want that happening to your dad.
No.
I'm worried. Like, would I know? I'd like to think I would know right away. I'd hate to think that if I looked at my dad and he was a digital replacement, it would take me a minute.
I feel like you'd have a feeling, right? Like you'd have some kind of sense.
This is a new horror movie. You go home to see your parents, and your parents are just in the uncanny valley now.
Yep.
Like you look at their faces and something's just slightly off, like their skin is too smooth and you can't figure out what it is.
There is a Marvel comic kind of about that. It's a Jessica Jones comic called The Variants. And I believe it's written by Gail Simone, if I'm not mistaken. But it is about Jessica Jones, like, on this, from what I understand is that there are people out there who like have had a similar thing of like one day they woke up and their wife is a different person from like who they married, even though they know that they've been married to this person for the past like 11 years or something like that. It's just like, I just have a feeling that my wife used to be blonde and I don't know why, but you're not the right one. And it's because it's all these like multiversal variants, universes combining and stuff like that. I don't know.
I'm imagining what if you looked at a friend and you're like, you look like you had a mustache, but they had to CGI it out. Why would you look like that?
I'm friends with Henry Cavill? Wow.
I'm just thinking about things that happen in movies infecting your real life. Like you look at your mom and her hair's slightly different. Like you look at your mom, you turn your head, you look back at her and her hair's slightly different, and you're like, "Mom, are you a pickup shot?"
You Mom, walk in, their teeth posing. The effects aren't done. Speaking of
thank God the effects are done on our lives. I never have to look at you with the dots on your face. You're fully rendered.
What if I did I don't know if it'll do this for you, but what if I did that and pixelated it's not showing for you.
That's not what incomplete digital effects look like. Do you remember the DVD of Shrek where one of the DVD extras was like the bloopers of every time the animation didn't work? And like Princess Fiona walks away, but her skirt stays where it was. So she walks away with just like green legs. And like Donkey's mouth gets stretched all out of proportion and Shrek's eyes are outside of his head.
Oh, yeah. Happens a lot in video games. Where stuff like that just happens. It's ridiculous.
Right. I forget other kids played video games and didn't watch every bonus feature on the Shrek DVD.
Anyways, speaking of effects and movies and playing different characters and all that good stuff, Clayface might be in the Batman 2. No, I'm kind of confused with this.
Yes.
Because someone posted this in a Discord that I'm in. It was a tweet from Discussing Film that was like, Clayface is in the Batman Part 2. And I was like, interesting. And it said the source was Deadline. And so I went to Deadline's Twitter and I was looking through all of their stuff to see if I could find the tweet that had like the link to the article and all that good stuff. I couldn't find it. The only thing I could find was this article. Which I'm pulling up on screen here in a sec. But it's Mike Flanagan pitches a pick on Clayface to Warner Bros.
Pick.
Yeah, so Mike Flanagan, you guys know from Haunting of Hill House, all that good stuff, has apparently pitched James Gunn and Peter Safran a Clayface movie in which he's not a villain. But that has nothing to do with Matt Reeves's The Batman.
Right.
But later on in this article, they say, like, hey, we've heard that, like, one of the scripts for the Batman 2 had Clayface in it. But, scripts, they're constantly changing.
Yeah, let me read what exactly is written in this Deadline article. Exclusive. Dr. Sleep filmmaker Mike Flanagan has pitched a feature version of Clayface over at the studio. Several sources tell Deadline. However, no word on greenlight yet. The studio has not said no. There are no offers and no deals. So this is such a non-news item.
Right.
It's just, he's thinking about Clayface. He tells the studio, and the studios are like, interesting. We'll also think about Clayface. And then it says...
Exactly.
Word is they had a meeting with James and Peter. Flanagan, we understand, wasn't pitching the character to be part of Matt Reeves' DC Elseworld. That said, other sources are telling us that scripts are constantly changing and that Clayface is a big addition to Matt Reeves' The Batman 2.
But then they say, let's wait until the dust settles here and something moves forward.
Until the clay settles.
Exactly. It was so, I don't know. I was just like, it's just non-news. I think I'd be interested in Clayface joining the Batman 2. I think that'd be, I would love Clayface story. Put him on the big screen, live action. Like, great stuff about an actor who can play all these different roles and blend. Yes, please. I need it.
I don't know anything about Clayface.
Did
he fall into a vat of clay?
So there's been a couple people to take up the mantle of Clayface. The one that I like is often the first, I think the first one from Batman, the animated series, Basil Karlo, who of course named after some older actors, like Basil Rathbone and all that good stuff. He is an actor.
Others.
Yeah, he is an actor. He likes to be in movies. He acts. He's always hoping for that perfect role, right?
Yeah.
And he gets hooked on this face cream that keeps him young and rejuvenated. Yep. He gets hooked on this like beauty product because his face is the money maker, right?
Right.
So he gets hooked on this stuff. Turns out there's a chemical in there that he gets addicted to. He runs out of the stuff. His face starts melting.
That's a real lotion mistake.
Right. Yeah, that's a real lotion mistake. But then if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember exactly. I think he goes to the plant where it's made and then like falls in the big vat of all this stuff. And then, just like becomes this like giant clay monster that can shape shift. So he can turn into whoever he wants, whatever he wants, whenever, but he can only hold it for so long.
Hold on, that's Darkman.
Look, I don't know when Clayface was created first or when Darkman was. I don't know who Darkman is. Who's Darkman?
Darkman is a Sam Raimi film, an original story, but meant to evoke pulp heroes of yesteryear, such as a Dick Tracy, a Shadow, a Phantom, and all those. He is a scientist who is working on like regeneratable skin.
Yes, and this like is Clayface. Exactly.
Yeah, he's not an actor though. He's a scientist, and he can print himself a new face, like Mission Impossible, and put the face on. But like it takes a long time to print, and then he can't wear it in the sun for that long, or else it starts to melt. He's Darkman.
Yeah,
he doesn't like to do it though. Like he's upset he has to have different faces.
It sounds like he was heavily inspired by Clayface. Or well, let me see. So Darkman was what, 1990 is what I think I see here.
I think around then.
Wikipedia, 1990 superhero film. Blah blah blah. Let's see. The character originated in a short story written by the film's director, Sam Raimi, entitled The Darkman, and is based on the Universal Pictures monster movie while retaining traits of the DC Comics World War II disfigured hero, the Unknown Soldier. Interesting. And the superpowers of the supervillain Clayface. They mention it right here on the Wikipedia, yeah. Clayface. When was Clayface first appearance?
We don't gotta litigate if Darkman took from Clayface. Like I said, he's different enough.
First appeared in Detective Comics number 40, June 1940. Gee. Yeah.
Wow. He's 50 years old.
Yep.
At the time Darkman is there. I'm looking at pictures of Clayface. I know he's a mud man. I'm okay. Here's a picture where like he makes his arm into a mace. Okay, so he's kind of like Sandman. Yeah. He's Sandman, but he's mud man. Okay, because I'm not seeing him change his face really. He kind of looks the same all the time.
Well, yeah, that is the thing. There are different interpretations. There are multiple people who've taken up the mantle. And they're like the way their powers work are all kind of slightly different. One is an actor, one's not. This guy, that guy, who knows? But the actor version is the one that I like the most. But yeah,
you know who else? The lady from Doom Patrol who was an actress and fell into a bad river, and now she turns into goop. There's been a lot of these.
Yeah. Just like Bugman. There's been lots of Bugmen in comics too. Spider-Man, Blue Beetle, all that.
Now, I don't want to get bit by a bug, even for pretend, but I would love the opportunity to safely fall into a vat. I want to.
They need to have this needs to be a thing along with the Avengers campus and stuff. You have the villains side of that. Welcome to the Legion of Doom, right? And they just have giant vats of the liquid trees that we saw, and you can fall in, and they'll be right there to get you out and give you a new superhero name or super villain name, I should say, right?
See, I want to go to I want this to be a new experience at Six Flags.
Yeah. The Legion of Doom experience.
It's just a big vat with padding at the bottom, or those big inflatable crash cushions stunt people use.
Yeah, because they have those like I don't even know. I was about to say like jump houses, but not the like moon
bounce houses. Yeah,
not those, but they have the like adult ones where it's like they have those giant trampolines on the inside with all those cushions and padding and all those like blocks of foam. That stuff. Yeah.
I want there to be a catwalk. I want to tumble off of a catwalk, like drop a vial or something. Fall into a vat.
Yeah.
As soon as I fall into the vat, they like bathe me in green light or something that represents my transformation. Then you go to a face painting stand.
Well, then you can go outside and get the picture that they took as you were falling into this vat.
It's in like a little cardboard frame saying, "I fell into a vat at Six Flags St. Louis."
Yeah. Yeah, they need some kind of like villain experience. Like I would like that more than this trend of like, let's make movies about the villains without the heroes. Like let's just have them be by themselves. It's just like
we can keep doing it, but like have them fall into a vat, have them steal a bag with a dollar sign on it. Have him have like 2 goons, and the goons are like, "Gee, I don't know, boss."
We need a superhero villain museum, like because I grew up in Northern Virginia, and in DC they had a spy museum.
Yeah,
history of spies, all sorts of gadgets and stuff. It was both like real and fake stuff, right? So that there was stuff about like the Cold War and all that good stuff, and then you have like, here's some of like James Bond's gadgets and stuff like that. But they have like these interactive exhibits where they might like there was one that would show you a video of like a 5-minute clip, and you had to pick out the people who were in disguise and stuff like that. So yeah, like it'd be interesting to see have to have a new face printed out Darkman style, right, to get some new to like here's how to rob a bank, right, and you get to walk out with your sack of money
mask, put on a black and white striped shirt and a little hat.
Exactly.
I want to go to like fancy villain camp.
Yes, absolutely. Good stuff. Well, yeah, that's all the pop culture stuff that I know happened this week.
One of these weeks, we're going to have to talk about just culture, check in on the latest operas.
It's op culture. We just dropped one of the P's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say we wrap things up there for the podcast. Next week, I want to try something out. So we originally on our plan off at the start of the year said that the end of March would be our taste test stuff. That stuff is on the way. It's coming. We will do it as soon as we can. Next week, I want to try. I want us to come up with names of spoofs of different movies that maybe we've seen on the review show or we want to cover, or just our big popular ones, and not like find ones that already exist, but I want us to make up our own, like the names of these things, the pitches of what it might be. So for example, here's one that I thought of this past week that I will then.
Is it Michael Clayface? What if Clayface
No.
was a secret fixer, had to save his brother's dying restaurant? His son was really into a weird book.
No, so we just got done covering the Fast and the Furious. What about the Cats and the Curious? Right? And it's all about some like high-speed cat chase or something. I don't know.
Okay, I also have an idea.
Okay.
Speaking of Fast and the Furious. Now, the movie was called Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
It was not called Hobbs versus Shaw, but I think it's clear to you and I, Shaw's the winner. Shaw's the one you like better, like way better than Hobbs. Yeah. And I thought about picking other movies that are people's names, and we pit those people against each other.
Yeah. That could be good. That could be good.
Who wins? Not in terms of like who's going to win a fight, Batman or Superman, Dawn of Justice, but like, who do you want to get a beer with? Who do you like better?
Okay.
Who gets your vote?
Let's do both
Thelma
of those
or
next
Louise.
week. I think that would
Make
be
your choice.
Great. Yeah.
Just think of movie titles that are two or several people's names, and we're going to pit those people against each other.
Hell yeah. Sounds good to me. That being said, let's wrap things up here. Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WilkyWit. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, show I co-host with my brother James, where we talk about weird old kid shows you feel like only you remember. We would watch Big Bug Man if Big Bug Man was there to be watched.
I'm sure you
Eventually, I do want to get us talking about some weird truly lost media that has now been found, such as Quantum Quest, a Cassini Space Odyssey.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. If you guys want to follow me, I am at Yo Kyle Springer. And if you would like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at The Whatnauts, we are at The Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out one of our other videos right over there on that side. That would, of course, help us out even further. This has been number 229 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.